great to have you on board. It's another time with Tutor.io in just tutorial. And this happens to be the revision class course INR393. Coding thumbnail, it's a revision class, and we're going through a couple of questions, and we all are expected to provide answers to this question. It's a free, interesting one in the sense that, unlike the CBT, where you do garbage in, garbage out, it's open ended when it comes to POP. So you have the liberty to explain, to give your own input on certain required tasks. For those of us who are new to the stream, let's ensure to subscribe to the channel. Let's ensure to give us a thumbs up if you find this class helpful. And most importantly, if you haven't gotten the keynote yet for this particular course, let's ensure to request after this class tonight. All you need to do is to go to our official website, which is www.tutorial.net. Find the WhatsApp button in the top right corner. Use that to send us a direct message. And as against next semester, I usually encourage them to join the classes early. This will give us enough time to take your courses, dissect them properly. All right, join the classes early, private class early, give us sufficient, all right, ample time at our disposal to walk you through all your courses. So I'm encouraging you that come next semester, let's ensure to join early, even before you register for the semester. To register for your class first. By the time you want to wait to register for the semester before class, you might have lost some weeks or months. And those weeks or months, you can gain a lot behind the class. So, with this being said, let's go straight into this class. And like I've informed you earlier, you need to make this class an interesting one. Okay. You need to make this class an interesting one by using the comment section, okay, to respond to questions. So now, to start with, our very first question, for tonight will be, what do you understand by the concept of international system? All right. When you hear of the concept of international system, what comes in mind? Okay, let's have the answers popping in. The comment section to keep this class active and lively. Okay, I can see some activities going on in the comment section. Let's use the comment section to provide answers to question. It's highly essential. That is one way to verify that yes, we are following. Okay, I'm getting some nice responses on the comment section. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, thank you very much for that. Yes, thank you very much for that. Okay, also, yes, when we talk about international system, international system, right? Sometimes, as we have course material, is exchanged or substituted for international relations. All right. And when we talk about international relations, we're talking about not just relationship between states, but a defined and intentional relation between states or countries. Or when I say states, I don't mean like between a state within a country. No, I'm talking about international states or countries to stay. All right, just like we have all correctly said, somebody says there is a sharing of power. Yes, definitely. That's also a very good one. So we have that as that. And there's an evolution. Okay, there's an evolution of international um, politics or international political system. Now, mind you, this relation, alright, we are intentional. We are looking at this relation from the aspect of the political relationship. And trust me, political relationship is basically the pivot, the main relationship. It is the reason why you and this other country are related. Now, embedded in this political relationship is where we now have the economy. All right. For world leaders come together, it is politically influenced. When they now come together, then we now begin to talk about economical aspect of these their relations. But basically, we are considering this relation from the view of politics. So now, about political relations, or talking about international relations or international system, it definitely have a starting point. All right, nothing, no system here on earth that exists without a starting point. About, let's take a question from the evolution. Okay, the evolution, the transformation, the process of changing, improvement and advancement of international political system. Please don't mix it up. International system, international political system, international relation, they are all used. Interchange. That was the thing from the service provider. I think it's stable now. Okay. So we want to consider real quickly the evolution. I said when you talk about evolution, everything that is happening today started at one point or the other. So we want to consider the evolution of international system or international political system or international relations. Any of these can be interchangeably used. So let's take a question on the evolution of international system during, all right, or in the classical period. Now, mind you, when we talk of classical, we're talking about old, all right, long period of time, right? So more like, how did this start? That's what you're just indirectly asking. How did this start? Can you say something about how it started? And this classical period is what you should be talking about. Okay, so let's use the comment section to drop our answers. So I'm getting some nice responses. Wonderful. Now, when you come across questions like this, okay, what do you think you should do? It's a very big question. It's a big question. Like, it's a very broad question. Okay, it might be very difficult for you to keep the record of dates and everything. So one thing you need to look out for, if you cannot remember the dates, try and speak or write about those very important if events related to this classical period. Just like somebody else rightfully said, you want to attend this kind of question. This is what you're supposed to do. The evolution of international political system during the classical period was from 1648 to 1815. All right. This period of the classical period of the evolution of international political system began at 1648 and ended towards 1815. Now, that is if you know the dates. But if you don't know the dates, this is how to start. The classical period of the evolution of international political system was a period characterized, all right, with or by religious crisis in Europe. That's a very, very important event that is attached to the classical period of evolution, all right, political system. This classical era is tagged or associated or is linked or characterized by consistent, continuous religious crisis in Europe. All right. And this era witnessed 30 years all right, of war, 30 years of war. If you had said this, excuse me, this is something. But if you wish to continue, go in depth and detail, fine. But you've been able to say a lot about this evolution during the classical period. So let's take a step further. What do you understand, all right, by actors? And what role do they play in international system? These are two questions. So let's split them out. What do you understand by actors in international system? Actors in international system. So first, define who actors are. Okay. Okay. Let's keep the answers coming. Getting some nice responses already. Yes, thank you very much for that response. Yes. So we talk about international actors. We are simply referring to individuals or political entity. All right. And these individuals or political entity, they have political authorities. All right. They have political power and they use it to exercise power or influence political processes. All right. These are individuals or political entity that is vested with the power, all right, or authority to influence, to effect political processes. So we've been able to define them. So what role, all right, they play in international system? The role of effecting political process, influencing political processes. So we've been able to use one answer to explain two questions. Now let's take some more questions. Now, there's something called the Peace of Westphalia. The Peace of Westphalia. When we talk of the Peace of Westphalia in 1648, what do you have to say about it? All right. Write something, say something about the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. Okay. So we have that. All right, Westphalia. All right, the Peace of Westphalia in 1648. Okay, let's keep our answers coming. Like I said, you might not be able to give it word for word according to the course material. Something tangible. That is the most important. Now, when we talk about the Peace of Westphalia, it's a peace treaty. Now, when we talk about peace treaty, what are we talking about? Peace treaty is an agreement, all right, between states. Okay, come on, we've been conflicting, we've been fighting. Let's reach a consensus. We'll stop ceasefire. Let's live in peace and harmony for as long as we can. I will sign, you will sign as a peace treaty. So the Peace of Westphalia is the same thing as this treaty. All right, but now country differs, okay, and individual, the conflicting parties differ. All right, now these conflicting parties were, all right, as you have been told, the Spanish and the Dutch, all right, and the German. Now, according to what we have in the course material, this Peace of Westphalia in 1648 is a peace treaty that was held somewhere in Germany called Munster. All right, it was held in Germany in the year 1648. Now, this peace treaty or peace agreement brought an end. Okay, it brought an end to a dispute, a war that has lasted for 30 years. All right, this war has lasted for 30 years between Spain, Dutch, and German. So that is the point you need to hold on to. So let's take a few more questions before we call it a wrap for tonight. Like I said earlier, I'm encouraging each and every one of us to try as much as we can to join a private class early next semester. When you join early, you can start early and we can take enough time, all right, to go through questions, to go through your course material. Now, when we talk about bipolar system, what do you understand? Bipolar. What do you understand by bipolar system? Okay. Now, speaking of bipolar system, it's a system. Okay. So what makes this system different from every kind of system is that in this system we have two superpowers. When we say two superpowers, we are saying countries that are developed, all right, and they are giant among other countries. They are powerful. That's why they are called superpowers. Superpowers in terms of military, economic, and a whole lot more. All right. Two superpowers have dominated the global economy. All right. Global economic, military, and cultural influence. All right. So when two superpowers have predominance, all right, say when they have predominance, say whereby they can easily influence things because of what they are superpowers. They are superpowers and basically dominate global economy, all right, military and cultural influence as well. So we have that as that. Now let's take a step further. Okay, let's call it wrap here for tonight. So, like I said earlier, let's ensure to join the private class as early as we can next semester so that we can cover a whole lot together. Thank you very much, everyone. I believe you'll be able to get something in this class. Let's ensure to keep studying and put in the effort as it will pay off eventually. Do have a wonderful evening and bye for now.